Hello and welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to be painting this base up, and what I'm going to be doing it looking like this. I've had a lot of requests for the base, how I do these bases on my Alfarion. So I thought what I'll do is I'll do a quick tutorial on how I do it. So the paints that you're going to need is you're going to need Naggoth Nightshade, Calabyte Green. You're also going to need Cybernite Green, Othwine Grey, and then later on a little bit of Contrast Wormwood. So the first thing first is what we do is I have cleaned the base up. This is a spare base from the Lumineth Warden's kit, so I filled in this hole with some Milliput, based it and then primed it. So what I'm going to do is, first things first, I'm going to get a little bit of Naggoth Nightshade and a little bit of Carbonite Green, and I'm going to make a sort of purpley greeny colour. And what I'm going to do is, just using my size 2 Rosemarine Core brush, I'm just going to get this, doesn't need to be neat, all along the bottom end. So like I said, it doesn't need to be neat, you're just wanting the bottom end shaded. Just get that initial pre-shade in. You want to get it, make sure it's all around the bottom end. You can run it up where you want it. Alright, and then just do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off, and then we'll get to the next stage. Be right back. So as you can see, I've basically covered all of the shade. So what we want to do now is get that initial base coat and add in a good nice chunk of Calabyte Green, and then if it's a little bit too light, just add a little bit more purple back into it. So it needs to be a little bit lighter than what we've got, so kind of like that tone. Okay, and then what we need to do is basically base coat the whole of the base. Now this is quite thin paint, so what you're going to find is you're going to get those darker colours are going to come through. Now if you're into your contrast paints, you can do this with contrast paints if you want, and then just do edge highlighting at the end. I will get if you want me to, leave a comment below and I'll look at doing this with contrast paints. But what we're going to do is all that does, the first part is essentially just shadows it. Alright, as you can see, just shadows it. Because it's quite thin paint, you're going to need more than 1 or 2 coats, probably at least 2 at the most. So what I'll do is I'll get the hairdryer out, give this a quick dry, and then give it another coat, and we'll get right back. Okay, now that's base coated, give me about 2 coats to give me a solid coat. So what we do now is we take that original base coat and we add more Calabyte Green. So about now it needs to be, I'd probably say nearly a 50-50-50. 50-50-50? Probably just 50-50. Let's not add extra 50s into it. And then for this, I'm just going to switch down to my size 1 brush. And then what we want to do is essentially we just need to lift that light up a little bit. What we want to do is just start bringing in the highlights. Now this paint is extremely thin, and you want it quite thin. So you see these flat surfaces here. I'm going to imagine that there's going to be a foot going to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the highlight out to the sides. All right. Okay. Same as here. Now it'll take a while before it'll really start to sort of show, because you've got a lot of highlight work to do, and we're not even into the sort of lighter shades. Just like that. So what you do is you keep working the carbide green into it. So when you get to like this, you just want to basically stipple on the more raised surfaces. Now people have said that this is like a marble. I'd probably say it's more like a green stone, because there's no real marble hue, you know, like the veins and stuff into it. So if you got like that, just feather it out with a damp brush. And as you can see there, you can kind of see the darker purple colours. Again, we're going to be glazing all of that in. So just get those colours on, and then add some more Caliban green. So you're pretty much using pure Caliban green at this stage. Like so. Now what you're going to do is start highlighting that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and get all these highlights on, and then before we start going into the more brighter highlights, we'll have a little look at it. So I'll be right back. So that's me highlighted everything up with Caliban green. So what I've done now is I've added a good probably 70-30 of the base mix that we've just been using, and some cybernite green. So it's quite bright now. We really want that sort of highlight to jump up. So on the edges here where you've got the broken stone, just stipple the colour in. It may look really bright when you first do it, but the paint will dry, and we've got the purple glazes and things to do at the end. So when you do that, just again, the top part here in the middle, when you do that, just feather it out. So you want that highlight on the same this side. Just feather it out. As you can see, the colour on the side has started to dry, and so because the way acrylic paints work is when they're wet, they're very bright and vibrant. But when you allow them to dry, they sort of darken up a little bit. So just getting that edge highlights on. You're essentially wanting to edge highlight everything at this stage. Like so. And this edge highlight here. And the more you start building these highlights up, the more you'll start seeing the colours really start to sort of pop out. And that initial purple that you had will really, really contrast with the sort of green colour that you're using. Just like, because it's pretty much thin, very thin paint that you're using, just pull the highlights out to the edge. And for these little bits here, just real light highlight over the top. Like so. And remember, this is a base, so unless you're going to be going Golden Demon or real sort of painting competitions type stuff, you don't have to go into massive amounts of detail on this. Okay, so with that, get some more. So this is almost pure Cybernite green at this point. And then you want to concentrate this highlight on the edges, just to get that edge highlight popped out, like so. Look at this. And then getting it quite thin. Get that highlight in the middle there. And just feather this out. Highlight in the middle. Feather that out. And again, you're going to be adding some nice glazes and things into this, so don't worry too much. Get all the edge highlights on. Stipple on the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of this area done, and then we'll start pushing into the final highlight. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the more extreme highlights. So add in some ultraline grey to your mix. You want to pull them. The most extreme points. So I've switched down to my size 0 because it's got a really good point on this brush. And then just get the brush, and then on the nice edges, get it out. the side there. You basically want to get, with this, all of the edge highlighting done. And you can add a couple of line highlight, little thin lines along this sort of broken area, just to get the edge highlights on them as well. And this will really start making your base pop. Like so. Just going to flip this over. Alright. And what you can do with some quite thin, just get that nice little thin highlight there in the middle. A damp brush. Get that highlight done there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish edge highlighting all of this off, and then we'll get right back and then we'll look at the glazes. Okay, so I've got all the edge highlighting done. So as you can see, it's kind of making it pop. So what we want to do now is we want to real push that contrast. So we get the Nagoth Nightshade and we make a glaze. So we want to make a glaze. We want it to be about that consistency. Alright, so you don't need too much. So I use the back of my hand, but you just normally just wipe off the excess. So when you do this, you want to get the shaded areas. So I want to glaze down this center part and here as well. And just feather this out. And the purple glaze will instantly pop with the teal, or the sort of tealy green, and it'll really make that, just make it look so much more vibrant. So you can do it here as well. And again, because it's a glaze, it's nice and thin. Like so. Just get that glaze in. Into the cracks. And then this part here, just glaze, and then, oops, not the camera, and then just with a damp brush feather that glaze up. So these parts here in the sort of crack area, and the cracks and the crevices, really perfect for just strengthening with that shadow. And the same as underneath here. And because of this sort of lip, you've got this little shadow, just to create the shadow there. It really starts to make this, the whole base, start to pop. Again, if you want to strengthen it, just go back over certain areas. So now what we do, just to give some real extra contrast into the colour, we get some contrast paint, some wormwood, thin it down a little bit with some medium, and into the deepest recesses you just want to put it in. Now you don't want to pull it too much, so if it does pull up like that. Just get a damp brush, just pull the excess away. But you want to pull that into the crevices, into the deepest shadows at the bottom. Like so, and then right in deep into the deep holes. You can do it in your shadow areas right at the top. Like that. Just sort of feather that out a bit. And then all along the bottom here. So what this will do is, because the wormwood has a red sort of tone to it, a reddy brown, now you're adding sort of like a red tone to what's predominantly a bluey green. It'll really push that contrast a little bit more. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll get the rest of the base finished, all the grass and everything else, and then show you the finished article and then let you see it. So I'll be right back. So here it is, all finished. Done the trim, added some grass and everything else. And as you can see, that will look awesome. So the reason why I've done that is obviously because of the reds and the other colours that and the golds and stuff that are in my elves. This is the kind of base I'm going to be doing on them. And so there you go. I even added a little bit of heather there, just to sort of give it a little bit of colour. So I hope you liked that video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you found it informative. There's many more coming. Light of Eltharion painting guide is coming up. How to do crystal swords is also coming very soon, and I'll probably do a video on how to do my actual Lumineth themselves. So if you like what I do, throw me a subscription and ring that bell so you're informed when I upload new videos. And if you want to support me in other ways, I have a Patreon page. Feel free to head over and throw me some support on there. Be much appreciated. Allow me to get some new miniatures in and stuff like that, to do some additional tutorials that are not covered by my armies. So thanks very much, and stay classy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.